morning. Welcome to my FlossTube. Yes, it is a FlossTube. It's been so long since I've done one of these that I'm actually not sure I remember how to do it. 6 weeks, maybe longer. It was definitely the end of April. So I skipped the whole of May, which has been really busy, and I'm now more than halfway through June. I'd say we're on the 23rd of June already, and I was like, it's about time I did one of these. I think one of the problems, of course, is when you leave a floss tube for this long, you start to lose track of all of the stuff that's happened, all of the things that you've stitched, all of the new stuff you've started, and on it goes. Anyway, so what I did is I wrote myself a list to try to think of everything that I've started or I've worked on or that's happened, or guaranteed I'll forget something. Guaranteed this will probably go on for way too long. But we're going to give it a go anyway, because if I don't get one out now, who knows when the next one's going to be. So here I am. I'm Nancy. This is Bohemian Stitchery. This is a channel all about cross stitch and all of the cross stitch fun that I get up to. I have had a tumultuous 6 weeks, let me say. Lots has happened. I'm sure any of you who watched my last one would know that I was heading into a really big race. I don't even know where to start. Look, do you know what? I'm going to leave all the running stuff to the end, because there'll probably be quite a few of you who are just here for the cross stitch. You're not interested in all my life stuff. And so you can turn off at that point, and I'll let you know when I'm going to start talking life stuff. So let's get into the cross stitch. Now, you'll notice that I am back at my table again. I'm not sitting at my sofa. There is a reason for that. That is because currently my leg is elevated. I have an ice pack on it, although it's not feeling very cold at the moment. Oh, that's because it's fallen off. Just give me a sec. Sorry about that. Not much point in putting an ice pack on your leg if the ice pack isn't on your leg, is it? There we go. Okay, anyway, I'll explain that later. You don't need to know about that now. Right, cross stitch. So, what's happened since I saw you last cross stitch wise? Well, the big thing is I went to the Vic Stitches retreat, which was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. It was such an amazing retreat, not least because finally Carla, Stitch Me Sane, and I got to meet face to face, and I have to say it was as good, in fact better, actually being with her than it was talking to her daily via Instagram or, you know, however we talk. We just got along like a house on fire. It was fantastic. It felt like I was just sitting there with one of my besties, and it was brilliant. I also met a whole stack of other people, but I want a big shout out to Vicky and Michelle, who are, Michelle particularly, but Vicky as well, obviously, now my new compadres in starting new stuff. And Carla, Michelle, Vicky and I have set ourselves a challenge over the next 10 months until the next Vic Stitches retreat, which is also really good, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that. But we also now converse constantly. Michelle's always starting new things. She's encouraged me to start a few new things, which I'll show you. Anyway, so yeah, the retreat was phenomenal. Now, at the retreat, I started 4 new projects. They are all here. I'm looking over here because I have this just pile of stuff. So what I might do is I'll just get my little page of notes just so I can think. So I think what I'll do, how am I going to order this? I think the way I'm going to do this is we'll take a look at my new starts, and then we'll look at what I've worked on. Or we'll take a look at what I've worked on, then we'll look at my new starts. Let's take a look at what I've worked on, because that's kind of, you know, interesting and fun. And then the new starts are really interesting and fun. And then I got a whole stack of haul, not all of which I bought. There was quite a lot of stuff on the freebie table at Vic Stitches. So I've got a whole lot of that, so I'll show you that. But yeah, okay, let's start with what we worked on. Right, the big one, the major one that I've been doing a lot of work on is the Heaven and Earth Designs Stitch Along, of which I've forgotten to bring the picture of what this should look like, which means yet again I'm gonna have to edit because it's over in my bag, and now that I've got my ice pack on, I'm not getting up again. So this is Tintern Abbey. It is Heaven Earth Design Stitch Along, started beginning of the year. Oh, look, I'm sure you've probably come across it by now. Basically, we get 3 pages of the chart every 3 months. We're just coming into the end of our second lot of 3 months. So we've had 6 pages of chart. The whole idea is if you stitch the whole lot, you get 2 free charts from Heaven and Earth plus all 10 SAL charts. If you stitch at least 3 pages, you get all 4 pages. I can't remember, whatever, you get all 10 SAL charts. Anyway, this is where I'm at. It's looking great. Let me just take my Q-snap. The reason it's on the Q-snap is because I'm now working on this. There we are. That's where I'm at. Oh, it's looking phenomenal. I now work on this on the train. I didn't think I could because I'm doing it 2/1 tent stitch on a 28 count, and of course my eyesight's not that great. So I was a bit kind of like, can I do this on the train? But actually I can. The bits I struggle with are the really light stitches. So this bit of sky in here, I can't do that on the train because it's hard to see. I mean, it's even hard to see at home with my magnifier, but it's hard to see where the stitch is. But any of the dark stitches here, I'm actually not having too much of a problem. And doing it on the train, I'm getting anywhere between 300 and 400 tent stitches done a day. I am still behind by quite a long way. I should have finished all of this. You can see where it ends. I should have finished all of that by the end of June. Obviously, I'm not going to have finished all of that by the end of June. I've given it a damn good shot. I'm almost at 70% of what we have been given so far. I think now that I'm doing it on the train, I've got far more chance of possibly finishing it by the end of the year, but I don't know. But it is just looking amazing. And you know the great thing about stitching this on the train, twice now I've had people just kind of obviously either sitting opposite me or whatever and just say to me, oh my God, that's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, it is amazing. And they're like, it's so fine. Oh, yeah, it is really fine. But I think now that the picture is really showing out, you can see the arch here and all the trees and the sunlight coming through. I mean, it's mind-blowing. So yeah, so 2/1 tent, as I said, just under 70% of the pages we've got so far. 23-something thousand stitches so far. Still got quite a way to go, but I'm actually really enjoying it. I enjoy picking it up on the train, and yeah, so there we are. So that is the Heaven and Earth Designs SAL. Let me pop that one back where it belongs, which will be back in my work bag. I'll keep that one because there's another project in there. Okay, I probably should be ticking these off, and I would be if I had a pen, but I don't have a pen. I mean, I do have a pen. There goes my ice pack again. Hang on. Let me see if I can get my pen, and then also my coffee, which is just on the other side of the camera there. I need to grab my coffee, because if I do this, then I can cross off what I've done, what I've told you about, and I won't repeat myself, which would make things less boring for you. Oh, there's my coffee. Right. It's Sunday morning. I'm here on my own. It is my weekend with my son, but he's at a sleepover. I go and pick him up in about an hour and a half. So that's how long I've got to record this FlossTube. So, right, get a wriggle on, Nancy. Come on. All right. So next thing that I've worked on in no particular order. Oh, okay, look, you know, this, no, that's a new start. In no particular order. Next thing I've worked on is, that's a new start. Right, Big Betty. So her name is not really Big Betty. This was my birthday start. It's called A Kaleidoscope of Butterflies by Little Fish Designs, charted by Contemporary Cross. The reason I call her Big Betty is she is over 500,000 stitches. I am stitching her on a piece of 22 count, actually a 22 count bed sheet. It is enormous, this piece of fabric. It's over 1 meter tall. That's how tall she's going to be. I've had to mark somewhere where the top is. There, I've put a little mark there where the top is because I keep forgetting which way around because I've done a center start for her. So it doesn't look like much yet. There we go. Oh, look, unfortunately you can see the light through this. I need something behind me. Pooh. That's because it's light outside. Let's just put that behind. There you go, that'll do. Okay, center start. That's where I'm at so far. Doesn't look like much. The reason I started center is because with 500,000 stitches, it's gonna take me a very long time to finish this, if I ever finish it at all. And if you look at the picture, if I'd done my usual top left start, there would have been a whole lot of very dark, very boring stitching before I actually got into something interesting. And I suspect I would have lost interest really quickly. So I thought, let's start right here and get into the fun stuff straight away. So that's the reason I've done a center start. It does mean there's a lot of fabric on either side, but so I think I'm about, I'm not quite 1,000 stitches in yet. Oh God, that's really annoying with the light behind me, isn't it? I'm not quite 1,000 stitches in. At the moment, she's out because I'm working on her because Carla and I are doing a little wheel where we spin a wheel for each other each week, and whatever comes up on that wheel, we have another one which gives a number of stitches. Then that's the challenge for the other person to do that week. We're very relaxed about it. It doesn't matter whether we do it or not. It basically is just a reason just to pick up a project, put some stitches in. If we achieve the goal, we've decided if we have 4 goal achievements and we're gonna, I don't know, allow ourselves to buy something new or something, I don't know. We haven't decided what the prize is yet. But it's been really good. I found it really good because even there's a couple here I've worked on which I didn't achieve the goal, but I put stitches in, and I probably wouldn't have picked it up and put stitches in if it hadn't been for our wheel. Anyway, long convoluted way of saying Big Betty was my wheel choice this week. And I think it was 400 stitches I needed to do, 500 stitches, I don't know. I think I've done a couple of hundred already. So I've got a couple more hundred to do. I'll try and do those this afternoon, and then hopefully I might actually get my goal done this week, which would be really nice. Anyway, she's huge. I could literally cover my bed. Not quite literally. What am I talking about? I couldn't cover my bed, but it's a big project. She's a big girl, is Betty. Right, so let's put Betty down to the side because I don't need her again. Okay, cross her off. Right, next one. This is another one that came up, no particular order. It's another one that came up with my wheel with Carla. This is a video game sampler. Warning, language warning. There's swearing on this sampler. If anybody knows me, you know that I have no aversion to swearing whatsoever. So anybody who's a bit upset by the F-bomb, maybe look away now for a few seconds. Anyway, that's the video game sampler, which is by Screaming Heart Design. It's a free chart, but what you need to do is if you go onto Screaming Heart Design, they ask you to donate to a charity. When you've donated, they will send you the chart. And I think they're still doing that. I mean, I got this chart, it was recommended to me by Talking Dog Stitcher. So I got it probably a year ago now. It's probably worth having a look. Anyway, it's hilarious, sums up my son. So I'm doing this on an 18 count black Ada using, what do you call it? Sorry, menopausal brain. Scrap threads. Okay, and this, let's put this behind, that's my list. This is where I'm at. I haven't done a lot more. I've started on the V, I finished the flame, and I finished my little sword. So yeah, so I got some stitches in, probably a couple of, maybe 100, couple of hundred, but that's a couple of hundred more than I would have got if I hadn't, or if Carla hadn't spun that one for me on my wheel. So that's a really good one. Okay, my video game sampler, that can go away. The awkward way of sitting with my leg up here at the moment. Right, another sip of coffee. Okay, next one that I worked on. This one now. This one took a bit of work. So this is Old World Map. It's a chart by Heaven and Earth Designs. Let me show you the picture. See if I can show you there. Oh, yeah, it's in plastic. So yeah, you can see. Whole Old World Map by Heaven and Earth. And it is, let's see, 376, 450 wide by 376 high. This is the very first full coverage I ever, no, that's a lie. Very first Heaven and Earth Designs I ever started. Now, if any of you have watched any of my older FlossTubes, you will have remembered that this was the project which I started back when I had an old iPad and I was using GoodNotes, something like that. Good Reader? I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't Pattern Keeper, obviously. And I marked it up on that. And then I kind of had a hiatus with stitching. I didn't pick it up for ages. And I, in the meantime, my iPad died completely, like irretrievably. It was so old, it died. I lost all my markup. So when I put the chart into Pattern Keeper, I literally had to mark up, and I'd done quite a bit, as you can see. So I literally had to mark up from trying to work out what I'd stitch from this, and that just put me off completely. So it sat there and sat there, and I picked it up this month and I was like, you know what, it's about time I mark this up in Pattern Keeper, because if I mark it up, then I will stitch it. So I spent nearly 3 nights carefully looking at the stitches that I'd done here and marking it up on Pattern Keeper. All up, it turns out I've done over 4,000 stitches already. And I'm so glad I actually did it, because then I put a few stitches in, probably not many, probably, you know, 100 or a couple of hundred. But I was just inspired to do it because I thought I've actually moved quite a long way with this one. You can see that it's one of these ones where I've tried different techniques. I've done, you know, this was cross country, like color by color per page. This is doing a bit of zigzagging. This is doing lines, you know, I chopped and changed. I've discovered that my favorite way of working is bog standard, regular cross-country stitching, whether I do full coverage or not. So that's my happy place. That's what I do. I don't really like parking, so my job with this one is to get rid of all these parked threads. I use some like fishing wire type stuff in order to grid it, but frankly, I've got used to not using grids now. Grids are nice, but I'm finding this more annoying than anything else. So I think I'm going to pull it out. And yes, I know I spent hours putting it in, but you know, and I'm quite comfortable just stitching cross country, you know, as I go. So I'm really pleased I picked this one back up again. It's all marked up, ready to go. And it's about time I put some more stitches in. Anyway, I did. I put a few in. It's good to go. And that's Old World Map by Heaven and Earth. Okay, let's cross that one off. Not sure what motivated me to pick that up. It was just one of those days I was like, you know what, I might just pick that up. Where did I put the cover? Oh, it's underneath. There you go. Next. All right. Okay, so that one can go on the floor. That's right. Next one. This is another one. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There. No. Down here. This is another one that came up. Oh my God, everything's going to fall on the floor. Man, this is why you should not leave FlossTubes for 6 weeks, because everything's everywhere. Right, this is another one that came up in the wheel spin. This is Gresford Gums. And that was a needle that just went flying by Artisy. well, actually the artwork is a painting by John Bradley, and it's charted by Artisy. I bought this one because we went, that's painted in the Ovens Valley in Victoria. We went there, I took the kids there last year. We're about to go again in about 3 weeks' time. We're actually going to ski this time. And I just was like, was so in love with the area. I bought 2 charts from Artisy. This is one of them. Anyway, I started this one. I'm doing it on an 18 count. So it's quite pixely. It's not very big. This is not the like supersize one. This was the slightly smaller one. And I started it and it was confetti hell. So again, as usual, when something's not fun, I put it down, and it's only because it came up in the, and I was trying to do it, sorry, I'm losing my way here. I was trying to do it diagonals. Confetti hell was a nightmare. So it came up in my wheel. Now that I've decided, as I said, I'm much more comfortable just doing cross country, I picked it back up again. I can't remember what Carla spun me the number of stitches to do, but once I got into it, I really got back into it, and I've gone over 1,000 stitches on it now. Doing cross country, I'm really happy with it, and I was almost disappointed to put it down. So there you go. It just goes to show that as soon as you find the way you like to stitch, you can just, just go for it. Things which seemed so annoying before, like, because I had lots of part threads as well on this one, like part threads and that's not how I roll. I just don't roll with the whole kind of doing things in columns or diagonals. It's just not me. So I just like to pick up a thread, follow it where it goes. If there's no more stitches, I'll finish off the thread, pick up another color, and off it goes. So, so there we go. So I actually made a bit of progress on that. On the camera, it's actually looking like something. When I look at it, it just looks like a mess of stitches, which just means nothing at the moment. Upside down. So obviously, top left corner, you can see this is where the trees are. So yeah, so it's slightly pixely because of the 18 count, but I think it'll still end up looking good. It's not, as I said, it's not enormously big. But yeah, so I was quite motivated to do that. I'm really into my full coverage right now. I'll be honest, that's all I want to stitch is full coverage. So in some ways our wheels are probably good because it's forcing me to pick up something other than full coverage. But actually, really all I want to do is full coverage. Right, next one. And this is not full coverage. The next one is, it's got to be down here because this is where all I'm currently working on. Okay, this is Sampler, and I can't remember which number, by 2x2 Stitch Art from Etsy. This is the one I fell in love with. I saw it finished on Facebook and just went, I have to have that, and literally just went and bought it straight away. I'm doing it on an 16 count Black Ada. And that is where I'm at so far. I am using 746. I have a cone of 746, which I'm using for all of the florally bits. And then just these highlights, I am doing it in 733, which when it's not on here looks very green, but on here actually really looks gold, and it looks amazing. Love this one. Took this, like, I think, one weekend I took the kids down to one of these kind of trampoline centres, and I sat there and I did some of that, and so that's a good one. That's a good one to move around with because there's only 2 colours, so it really helps. Okay, next one. Right, this was another wheel spin. You can see we've been doing this for a few weeks now. It's actually been really good. I thought maybe I'd finish this one because I think Carla spun me like 800 or 1,000 stitches. I didn't do the 1,000 stitches. So this is Partridge in a Pear Tree by Nora Corbett. This is the first of her 12 Days of Christmas. I'm just going to have to take that ice pack off because it's really cold now. Oh. Okay, yeah, I think that's cold enough. That's cold enough now. I'll just keep the leg up. Never mind. Look at the plastic. Blech. I am doing this on one enormous piece of linen because my original plan was to put all 12 Days of Christmas on one. Then I was like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'll just do them separately. Then when I was at the Mirabilia retreat earlier in the year and I went up to, I can't remember the name of the stitch shop. I'm so sorry. In Queensland. Anyway, in Brisbane. I'll put the name down here. Anyway, I went up there and I saw a framed, finished one of these with all 12 of them on one. And it looked incredible. So I was like, I'm going to keep them all on one. But I got a long way to go. Anyway, this is where I'm at. As you can see, it is really close to being finished. Now, it's so close, I'm now in the position of, do I bead it, or if I'm doing all 12 of them on one, do I leave the beading until I've finished all 12? Now, it could take me 20 years to finish all 12. It may mean I never bead them. I don't know. I mean, I've got a few more stitches to go. Not a lot, as you can see. A lot of the rest of what's on here is beads. So I do have a decision to make fairly soon. I don't know. What do you think? Bead it? Don't bead it? Makes it hard to put in a Q-snap if you bead it. Beads could come off, especially over the course of the years. But if you don't bead it, am I ever going to bead it? Am I ever going to get the pleasure of seeing it beaded? I don't know. What would you do? That's what I want to know. What would you do? Because I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. So anyway, that's a 28 count linen. 2/1, obviously. So I'll just put that back in my little project bag. That's a big project bag actually, because it's a very big piece of linen. Okay, so that's partridge, as I affectionately call it. Right, the next one, this is my second oldest Heaven and Earth design. I didn't put a lot of stitches in, but I just did a few. And you know what? Every stitch counts. This is Al and the Pussycat. Artwork by Yvonne Gilbert. Charted by Heaven and Earth. Lots of border. But at least the border's sort of interesting because it's got shells in it. As usual, I did a top left start. This was back in the days where I was experimenting still. So I've got lots of part threads. But as you can see, the shells are starting to show out. Aren't they looking good? 25 count Lagana, 1/1 full cross. God, you know, looking at them in cameras, in the camera, they look great. Inspiring. I want to do them all. I want to do them all right now. What am I doing sitting here chatting with you? Okay, let's get rid of that one. Okay, next one. Okay, this one is one that before I decided I'd do my Heaven and Earth Sal on the train, this was the one I was doing on the train, because I thought, oh, let's go for a finish. It's a sampler. It's pretty. I'm just not motivated. It's a problem right now. I don't really fancy samplers. Oh, let's put something behind it. You can see it's very creased, and the reason it's very creased is because it's still sitting in my bag, which I take with me on the train. The reason I keep it in the bag is because just in case in that terrible moment you suddenly discover your tablet has died, you've still got a train journey. This one is done from paper. So I always like to have a paper project just in case, because you don't want to waste good stitching time. You can see I'm 3/4 done. Well, no, maybe not quite, maybe 2/3 done. It wouldn't take me much to finish it, but I'm just not into samplers right now. So it'll get done, it'll get finished. It's looking good. But this is by Tempting Tangles. It was a stitch along from 2017, I think. It's called the Wildflower Woodlands Wildflower Quaker Sampler. Wildflower something Quaker Sampler. Yeah. So I'm doing it on a 28 count, sort of pale blue, bluish grey linen. So 2/1, obviously. Very creased. That's because it keeps getting shoved in the bottom of my travel bag. That's that one. And it just lives down there and it gets shoved in every time I arrive at the station. Okay, Wildflower, Quaker. Right, next one. I did a few stitches on this one at the retreat, just a few. This is supposedly my HAED this decade. This is the garden by Jen DeLeith, Celtic Designs. Gorgeous. My plan was to finish this by the end of 2029. But I haven't worked on it a lot. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I'm doing this on a 28 count, not 25 count, 1/1 full cross. That is where I'm at. I probably haven't got much further than when you saw it last time. I did put in a few stitches, a few here and there. It's looking good. It'll get done. They'll get done. They will get done. You know, I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still stitching. So, you know. Okay, so a few stitches on that one at the retreat. That was the garden. Now, the next one is my non-HAED this decade. This is Mistress of the Hunt 3 from the Sewing Shop Inc. Charted by Kaylee Tentstitch. Artwork by Heather Kramer. This is what I affectionately call Harry the Headless because of Harry with his head floating over here, which is my favourite bit. Again, top left, I'm doing this 25 count linen, 1/1 full cross. There's a lot of green going on there in the tree, but yeah, so there we go. There we go. So a few stitches in that one, at least. I've still got like bits of these, which I took with me, because what I did on the retreat, because I work now from a master set. I love my master set. For when I took my full coverage on the retreat, I picked like 3 colours with, you know, a fairly large amount of stitches in the area I was in, and I just brought bobbins or threads for those 3 colours. So I can tell the ones that I haven't actually touched since the retreat because they've still got their colours in the project bag. So that's one of them. Okay, that's Mistress. Okay, last 2 that I worked on. These are both Carolyn Manning. This one is Jane's Joy Over the Rainbow by Carolyn Manning Designs. I'm doing this on it's called a sequin black Quaker cloth, 28 count, 2/1, 2/2, and it's looking great. The black actually really shows out well on that, so it's going to be fab. So that's that one, and again you can see that I've got some threads in there. I took that one with me, so I did a few stitches of that on the retreat as well. Let me just shove that one back in its little envelope, otherwise I'll get myself in an even bigger mess than I'm already in. Close that one up. Okay, that's that. And then the final project I worked on, which was a whip as opposed to a new start, is Arctic Blast. This is another Carolyn Manning. This is actually Carolyn Manning freebie. Which is great. I love it. I'm doing this on a 16 count white Ada. 16 count's great for Carolyn Manning. I'm actually just about to start one today on an 18 count, so that'll be an interesting one. It'll be a bit smaller, so, but that's, oh, it's a bit creased, sorry, but that's where we're at so far. That was, again, my train project for a while, particularly during myths. Not this myths round. This myths round for us was over and done with in 2 days. And that's because nobody else in our league was playing. So we kind of just won by default, really. So anyway, so I didn't get a lot done for myths this round. The thing is, when myths starts, it's like, yeah, we'll get loads of stitching done. And all of us were like, oh, that was a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it? We stitched crazily for the first 2 days and then discovered there were no other clans playing in our league. Well, one of them sort of made an attempt and put 50 stitches in, and then that was it. Nobody else. So we just threw some attacks and then waited for 24 hours and bam, we'd won. So hopefully that means we move up a league and we might actually have some clans to play against next time. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It's a stitch game that I play on Facebook. Well, no, it's not on Facebook anymore. It's on Discord now, which is much better. And it's called Myths and Magic Stitch Wars. It's fun. It's fun. So, okay, so that is my list of everything I've worked on. Now let's see all the new starts. I've just broken a nail. Right, this is the fun part. So, okay, let's start with the new starts that I did at the retreat. So I did 4 new starts at the retreat in no particular order. No, that's not it. Let's try this one instead. Okay, this was a kit. This is the kit that I don't have the cover picture for. It's called Misaki. One of these sides, I'm not sure. I'll put a picture over here or over here, whatever. I made a start on this because I've had this for a very long time. It's on a 16 count red Ada. Very small start, but a start is a start, correct? There we go. That's my very small start on Misaki. Which I'm pleased that I bought. I mean, I bought that years ago, so it's nice to actually get that one started. So that's start number 1. My pile here is teetering. Okay, so that was on the retreat. The second start on the retreat I made was Aurelia by Maxine Gadd, Mystic Stitch, paper. So what I've done is I have purchased Markup XP because I think it was Alara was talking about how Markup XP is better for scanned charts. And there's no doubt Pattern Keeper is pretty useless when it comes to scan charts. Like you can put them in, but the grids barely line up. You can't see, whatever. She's right. Markup XP is much better for scan charts. It's still not perfect, obviously, because it can't pick up all of the symbols, but it does pick up some, enough to make it easy to work from. So I've used this one as a test. So I'd scanned the whole chart in, put it into Markup XP. And although Markup XP I find is a lot more confusing to use, there's a lot more to it. I can't figure out everything. It is good, I found, for scan charts. Now I have a lot of particularly full coverage paper charts, which I've avoided doing because it's just hard to do on paper. You know, I know people do, so it's not like I'm criticizing. I find it hard to do on paper. And also because I'm a stitch counter, I like to count, you know, to know how much I'm doing. Yes, I can count. I use my little counters, but I'm constantly losing count. You know, you think I'd be able to count to 10, wouldn't you? But, you know, I get to 6 and I'm like, have I done 6? Have I done 8? I can't remember. You know? So have I put the counter in my little box, or have I forgotten to put the counter in my box? Do I have to go back and recount? And, you know, and that kind of annoys me. Whereas put it in Markup XP and it counts for me. So I can actually select a symbol and it does its best. It asks for your sensitivity on picking up the symbol. And if you increase, you've got to find the happy medium between it just picking up everything and not picking up any of the symbols. So you find a sensitivity and then it picks up quite a few, and you can keep an eye out and go, oh, look, there's one there it hasn't picked up. So I'll just deselect, you know, select that one. So it's complicated, but you can do it. And it's obviously keeping count. So I'm a bit sold on it. I think it's good. I've got a whole lot more charts that I need to somehow scan in. I'm not quite sure where or how. And then I'll use Markup XP for my paper charts scanned, and then I continue to use Pattern Keeper for all my PDF charts. Anyway, I started Aurelia twice. Top left star, I know it's really boring. There's not a lot there. It's going to take me a long while to get down to the fun stuff. But nevertheless, I'm doing this on a 22 count, same piece of 22 count. God knows where I got this 22 count. It's gridded in 20 by 20 squares, which is a bit of a pain in the neck, but it's actually really nice. I like it. I had this huge piece and I've actually used almost all of it now. So, but the reason I started her twice is originally I started her down here doing 2 over 1, and then I realized this is going to be too thick. So rather than unpicking it all, I just was like, ugh, I'll just turn my fabric over. I'll worry about unpicking that another day. That's a problem for future Nancy. When I get down there, if I ever get down there, and I started again in this corner here. So this is where I'm at. Now that's using Markup XP. It's being able to pick stitches. It's allowing me to stitch in my happy way with my cross country. And yeah, it's all good. So it's going to take a long time before I actually get to Aurelia herself and get out of the background, but that's okay. So yes, so that was another one of my new starts at the retreat. I have a second Maxine Gadd Mystic Stitch, which I actually need to scan in, and I'll do the same thing. It'll go into Markup XP. Right, Aurelia. So that was 2 starts on the retreat. The 3rd start on the retreat was another Maya kit. Oh, Misaki was a kit by Maya cross stitch. That's Maya cross stitch. Okay, this was the next one I started. This is called When I Say Go. It's actually a very long picture. And some of this ocean is not stitched, some of it's half stitches, some of it's full stitches. So it's quite interesting. It's done on a navy blue 16 count Ada. I have a very small start, very small start of some half stitches. But you know what? A start is a start. There you go. It's nothing to see here. There we go. That's my start. It's all done in anchor. So obviously as a kit, it gives you all the anchor, and it gives you full skeins as well, which is, oh, not entirely full skeins, but there are some full skeins in here, which is nice. So because as I've mentioned before, anchor is actually quite difficult to get here in Australia. So if I run out, I'm probably going to be in a bit of trouble. I'd find it, but it's not easy. So, okay, so that's When I Say Go. That was another very small start. And then the final very small start at the retreat was actually a kit which Carla donated me because she knows how much I love my horses, and she had these horse kits. She was like, I'm not going to do these. So this is one of the ones she gave me. Oh my God, I love it. Full coverage paper. I think I'm going to scan this one in as well and put it into Markup. I haven't done it yet. I actually just started with the paper. It's how many pages of full coverage paper? Let's just take a look. 9, 10, 9 pages, full coverage. Called Black Stallion. I love it. It's on a 14 count. Sort of mushroomy coloured Ada. Where's my start? Oh, it's tiny. I think I could probably count those stitches on one hand. But it's a start. There we go. I class that as a start. So it's now a whip. It is no longer a project I want to do. It is a work in progress. So that was my 4th start at the retreat. So you can see, I mean, we did stitch. We talked a lot, as you do on retreat. So we did some stitching. I made sure to start at least 2 starts. We were there for 3 days, so I started at least 1 a day. I can't remember what day I started 2, but whatever. So that was my retreat starts. Anybody's interested, I'm actually up to 33 starts of my 50 starts for my 50th year. So I've actually slowed down a bit. So I've got 17 more starts before the end of the year, which won't be a problem, I can assure you. What the problem is going to be is which ones do I start? Okay, the next new start, which was just on a whim, just because I fancied a start, because I hadn't had a start for a while. This is one I've owned for a very long time. It is unfortunately no longer available. It is called Basilisk. The artwork is by Kinuko Craft Art, Kinuko Y Craft Art, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I must have bought this back in about 2016. It's, as I said, it's not, as far as I can tell, it's not available on the website anymore. It's interesting because it's called Basilisk. The little basilisk is right there. So it's not really the focus. She's the focus. Lots of brown. And interestingly, this one has got, oh, here, actually, because I've got one of these. 751. So that's a 5, sorry. 781, and 782. Now, 781 is a discontinued colour, which they reckon is replaced by 782. But both of them are in this, and there's quite a lot of stitches of each. I have one skein of 781. The difference between the 781 and 782 is almost indistinguishable. Very subtle. So unfortunately, I'm going to use my one skein of old 781. But I will run out because I think there's over 3,500 stitches of 781 in this. And I guess I'll just have to do, because I think there's about 3,500 of 782 as well. I think I'm just going to have to just do the rest in 782. I'm assuming the difference is not going to be so great that you're going to notice. I did hunt everywhere to see if I had a second skein of old 781. I don't. I don't. So if any of you have got a spare skein of old DMC 781, please let me know. If you're willing to send it to me or whatever, I'd be very grateful. I'd probably actually need 2. I reckon I'd be pushing it with one more, but don't worry if you don't, it's all good. I'll just do whatever. And bear in mind, I have to get there first. I mean, you can see where it all is. Obviously, there's a lot of brown in the border. But yeah, if any of you have one and you're kind of like, oh, I'm never going to use this. This is an old one. I'm never going to... Just email me, please. I'll pay for postage, but it would be great. So yeah, anyway, let's show you where I'm at. It's only a small start. Again, I'm doing this on my favourite 25 count linen. It's actually got cat hair all over it. What a surprise. Once again, I've had to put a little cross so I know where the top and bottom is. I've gone for a center start because I didn't want to start with that border because the border is boring. And what's the point of stitching if it's boring? Right, let's fold that up. So there we go. So that's where I'm at. Oh, you know, it's not a bad start. There we go. So you can see I've actually got a bit of 781, which is hanging out there when I put it down. So that's my start on Basilisk. All these charts, which I bought ages ago and which I've been wanting to start for ages. And that's the good thing about having a year-long start fest, is it means I get to start all these things. And I love starting things. Who knew I loved starting things? So, you know, I could say next year, right, that's it, no new starts. But I'm not going to do that because that's not how I stitch. I like starting things. I like starting all the things. So, right, Basilisk. Now, the last 3 starts. So, this is the little challenge that Vicky, Michelle, Carla and I have got. So after we spent an amazing time together at the retreat, we kind of all started chatting on Instagram, and thanks to Carla, put a little group together, and we've set ourselves a challenge that each month up until the next retreat next year, we post up a picture of 3 of our BAPs. That's, anybody who doesn't know what a BAP is, big ass project. Full coverage, obviously. 3 of our BAPs, and then the group chooses which one we're going to work on that month, and then the goal is 3,000 stitches for the month. Now, this is great for me because some of these BAPs of mine, that will actually double what I've already done, probably more. And it's really good to have that focus to work on. And of course, we're messaging each other back and forth. I haven't finished my 3,000 quite yet this month, but I'm not far off. I think, Michelle has, I'm sorry if I've got this wrong. Carla is pretty close. She just told me she's hit 2,000 on hers. So, you know, this is helping us to move along. Anyway, the choice for me this month was actually one I just started. It's a new start and it's a Max Color. Now, I bought this at the last HAED sale. It is called Atrium by Ciro Marchetti. It is beautiful. And it is, as I said, Max Color, so 240 colors. I am sold on Max Color. I discovered I'd bought a chart from Heaven and Earth when they were retiring a whole lot of artists, and I didn't buy Max Color. I bought the regular color, and I put it into Pattern Keeper, and it's awful. It is just awful. There's not enough definition in it. There's just chunks of black. It's so awful that I'm actually never going to stitch it, and I paid full price for it, so I'm disappointed. I should have checked the mock-up before I bought it, and I should have bought Max Color. Lesson learned. I won't do that again. I won't ever buy now without checking the mock-up first. This one, the mock-up on the Max Color was just much better, and I'm actually really enjoying Max Color. I mean, obviously working with a what do you call it, master set makes a big difference. But so Atrium is big, 750 wide by 528 high. It's a monster. I'm doing it on my favorite 22 count. And this is where I'm at. Ooh, let's put something behind that. There we go. Obviously top left start. Looking fab. So I'm nearly 3,000 stitches into this, 2,800 or something. My goal, I would love to get to 4,000 by the end of the month. That would give me my 3,000 of our challenge plus more. Really enjoying it, really loving how it's looking. I'm doing it 1/1 full cross and 22 count, and I'm just loving how it's looking. So very happy with that one. All right, so that's a new start and a lot of progress on that one. Now, the next new start, this one is one from Michelle. She was like, let's do this. So we go down go down Max Color, let's go supersize. Supersize Max Color Sweet Shop by Amy Stewart. Now I had to buy a piece of fabric for this. I've bought a 22 count linen. It's huge. Bear in mind, we are looking at 750,000 stitches in this project. 999 stitches wide by 723 high. So you imagine the size of this piece of fabric. It's enormous. My start is tiny, but I started. There we go. Top left corner. There we go. There's not much to it. There's a lot of stitches to go. But you know what? Go big or go home, I say. So that one, thank you, Michelle, that I've started that one, because she started it at the same time. It's like, this could take us years and years and years to do. All right. And then my final new start, I started about 2 days ago just because I hadn't done a new start for about 3 weeks, and I felt it was about time I did one. And it's a freebie from Heaven and Earth. It came out at the Valentine's Day this year. It was only out for a couple of days, so you had to grab it while it was there. It's called Venus. Very pretty. Again, I'm doing this on my favorite 25 count linen, I haven't got much of it left, and that's the reason I started this one, because I've only got small bits left. And this one, I mean, it's not it's not enormous, only 154,000 stitches, so it's not as big as some. Center start, very small, only done a few hundred stitches, and there you go. So that's all my new starts. Now, I am going to pause this video because whilst I've been talking to you, my son, who is at his sleepover, has been messaging me like crazy. So I probably need to respond to him and just let him know when I'm picking him up. So when I come back, I will have warmed my coffee up, and then I can go through all of the haul that I got from the retreat and then tell you a bit of life stories. So sorry about this. It's going to be a long video. I'm already at 55 minutes. There's probably another half an hour to go, but we'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I've just phoned my son. He doesn't want to leave. He's quite happy where he is. So I've sort of said to him, I'll call him again in a couple of hours and find out how he is, make sure his friends' parents are okay, that he's hanging around there all day. So I've warmed my coffee up. So I'm all, oh, hang on. I'm being done. Low battery? How can I have a low battery? This battery had better last all the way through to the end of this FlossTube, or I'm going to be very annoyed. So, right, let me go through my haul. I have a lot of haul. Right, let's look at some of the stuff I bought at the retreat. So, Silks for You were there, and then they did this great deal. So I bought 2 gorgeous skeins of silk. So pretty. What am I going to do with them? I'm not entirely sure, but they're really pretty. I think I'm going to do something peacocky with this one on black, which would look great. This one, don't know. Find something, you know, the right project will come up. Maybe something 2x2 stitch art or whatever. Michelle, Vicky, Carla and I all bought silks, and we're all like, oh, let's do a 2x2. So I think somewhere along the line we might kind of all, the 4 of us will do a 2x2 stitch art with one of our skeins. This one, as I said, I'm thinking Linen and Threads, who are now Fox and Rabbit, did a stitch along, and I can't remember how many years ago, probably 4 years ago, which had a peacock in it. And I'm wondering whether I might do that on black in it, with it. Whatever, that would look great. Anyway, so that was that. I also bought some smaller skeins, silks from Silks for You, very pretty. And in our goodie bag, we got even more skeins from Silk. Oh, these ones, yes, more from Silks for You. Also beautiful. So, you know, people ask, what are you going to do with them? Yeah, I don't know. I'll find something to do with them. Now, also, we got this amazing goodie bag. We got all sorts of stuff in here. We got like a little tissue holder, which is good. I actually need to put that in my handbag because I'm constantly needing tissues now that it is so cold here. And when I walk to the station in the morning, of course, it's so cold, my nose starts running. So I need to take that one with me. This one comes from Floss Anthology, the amazing Shona, who I bought my pages things off, which is my, oh God, oh, menopausal brain, help me please. What do you call it? It is my master set. That's the one. You can see, so what she's done, she's put these little chocolates in there. There's a picture of her floss out. She's just great. She's great. She was there as well. So, so there you are. That's that. What else did we get? We got a little zipper pull. This one came from Once Upon a Needle Minder. I bought some needle minders from her. Little zipper pull, which is very cute. We got some threads from Cascade House, which is nice. We got a little chart, which is the Vic, oh, I shouldn't show that. That's the Vic Stitches retreat chart, which is nice. We also got a little needle threader, daisy chain, which is lovely. See, all sorts of little goodies. It was just great. then I went a bit crazy on the needle minders. Now, again, as I did say, anybody who's a bit offended by kind of, you know, slightly questionable topics and swearing, look away. In a minute, not quite. First of all, I'll show you, this was the Vic Stitches needle minder that we got in our goodie bag. Little cow, so cute. I got 4 of these. 2 of them are on my project somewhere, but they're all similar, just different colors. Very pretty little needle minders. My favorite one, which you may or may not have spotted when I showed you my HAED Howl. HAED Sal, that one. This is this one. If you don't like swearing, I'm sorry. Oh, is it gonna focus? Don't focus on me, focus on it. Focus, focus. It's not gonna focus. Anyway, it's hilarious. I'm not gonna read it out. It makes me laugh. It's so good. And then, this is again questionable. These ones came from Ginger Stitch, who were there. And they just had some awesome needle minders. I'm not going to read it out again. If you want to read it, you can. If you want to look away, look away. Oh, I hope is that? There we go. It's sort of, yeah, focusing. I like that one. And then the final one, which actually Michelle bought for me because she's awesome. And just again, if you're offended, I'm so sorry, but they just make me laugh. Right, so they're my needle minders. It's awesome needle minders. Okay, so that's what I bought, and then I got a lot of stuff off the freebie table. So everybody knew I was the horse lady. So every horse chart which was on the freebie table came to me. Some of them are great. Some of them I'm like, oh, will I, won't I? Anyway, some of them clearly printed off from the internet. Don't care. That one, actually really like that one. Again, all paper, obviously. This one I also really like. Full coverage. It's called Fiery Spirit. Really like that one. Definitely will stitch that one. I got this. Ooh, For the Love of Horses. It's Across My Heart book. There's some really nice charts in there. Very fond of this one. So, yeah. What else have I got that came differently? Sorry, I've got my pile over here. Okay, that's different. That's this one, which I love. Full coverage, again. It's another custom crafts. So, I've got a few custom crafts. I've got one called Miracle, which I've shown in a previous FlossTube. It's a horse, obviously. Black Stallion, the one that Carla gave me, is also a custom craft. This obviously wasn't a kit. This is just a chart, but I love it. I'm definitely stitching that one. I need to scan this one in and put it into Markup XP. More horses. There's more horses. There's more horses. This one, which actually looks quite good from a distance. It's a bit pixely close up, but from back here it's quite nice. This one, surprisingly enough, is quite nice. I think somebody's just charted the picture. The whole white is stitched. I would not stitch the white. So actually this could be quite a quick stitch because it'll all be in a very limited range of colors. There's another one like that, which is, I had to laugh. It's where is it? Oh, where is it? The horse's butt. My horse butt. There it is. Horse butt. Which is quite cool. I like that one too. Again, I wouldn't stitch the white, just stitch the dark. So that's that. Oh, now that I'm looking them all again, I'm like, I want to stitch all these. This one, which is lovely. You could probably crop this. You could probably crop some of this off. Just about there. So you wouldn't need to do the whole lot. So yeah, that would work. And because it's on paper, you could easily crop that. This one, yeah, that one's beautiful. More horses, more horses. This one, like that one in the snow, lots of white. Lots of white in that one. Probably so much white that I'd actually do that on a darker Ada. Just because it'd be too difficult to stitch. There'd be too much white on white. But will I stitch it? Yes, I would like to. Yes, I'm going to live to die 200 years old. Sorry, that was a big bang. Okay, so I think that, oh no, I have one more horse. This is donated from Carla. She actually, this is one of the Riolis horses. She actually had the black one, which I already own. So I said, no, there's no point in me having that one because I actually have. So they're a matching pair. They would look great together, the white horse and the black horse. So so that's a full kit on black Ada. Beautiful. Thank you, Carla. I love it. Okay, so that's all the horses, I believe, that I got off the freebie table. I also got 2 lavender and laces that I didn't own. And I own a lot of lavender and laces. A lot. So that one's Angel of Grace. And this one's actually Butternut Road. I also own a lot of those. That's the Teacher. So I got both of those. Then I had to get these because they were a set and they were very cute. This one's called Beached. Again, not kits, just charts. Little kitty in there. And then this one is called A Pair of Swingers. Little kitty there. So I actually really like those. And then I also got a couple of kits. These are also off the freebie table. This one I thought was beautiful. So it's an Elsa Williams kit, unopened. So yeah, I'd like to stitch that. Oh, sorry. This one is also a kit, kind of a bit of a Chinese, I don't know whether it's a knockoff or not, but I really like it because I love cats. Very colourful. So that's a great one as well. And then the last one I got was this one, which made me laugh. I love Stash Enhancement Experiments. And chocolate. So I thought that was a cute little stash buster. I will do that at some point. Okay, so the other charts that I got, I actually got these off Stash Unload just before I went away. So this one is called Heartwarming Dance. Sorry, I've got it actually in a thingy already. There we go. That is a matching pair to the Dance Leader, which I got off Stash Unload last year. That's why I grabbed it. It's only a chart, it's not a kit, but the two of them are going to look just fabulous together. I just need to make sure I do them on the same 16 count Ada. But yeah, love that one. So it's by Fleur de Lis. So I got that one off Stash Unload. Same lady on Stash Unload, I also got this chart. It's from an Anchor kit. Obviously it's not a kit. It's called I Love Cats, which I do. Cats and horses, my 2 favorite things, and fish. I like fish too. Cats, horses and fish. There we go. That one's really cute. Flutter, scratch, preen, wiggle. Okay, that's a little chart. And then I also got one which I really like. This is a full coverage. That's it. It's called a Hot Date. The Hot Date. I'm going to scan that one in. I think that one would be really fun to do. How many pages of full coverage is that? Have a look. 6, 8, 9 pages. So that one is by White Willow Stitching. And then the final one I got was a Heaven and Earth, which I really like, talking about fish. There you go, again, paper. It's called A Conversation Around Fish by James C. Christensen. And I really want to start that one too. Even the background is interesting with like the pears and the, you know, the floor is interesting. The whole thing is interesting. I like it. How big is it? 575 by 405. reasonable size. It's not full coverage. It is full coverage, obviously. It's not full max colour. So yeah, so I got that one. And then the last two, there was another Carolyn Manning sale. And whenever there's a Carolyn Manning sale, you just kind of have to. And I blame my Miss team because they did. So I bought citrus glass. And the one I am starting today is garden glass. I'm going to do this. I found a scrap of 18 count Ada because it's supposed to be done on like a light yellow. The only thing I could find in light yellow was a 18 count scrap. It will fit just. It's got probably 3 centimeters either side, top and bottom, a lot more on the side. But so yeah, so that's going to be my start today. Garden glass. That's a lot of haul. I want to start all of those things. When am I going to do that? I'm not sure. So, okay. Do you know what? I think that's all I have to talk about stitching. Well done. Thank you if you've lasted this long. It's been like an hour and 10 minutes. I'm very impressed. I'm now going to talk a little bit about life and what's happened to me in life over the last 6 weeks. If you don't want to hear about life, that's fine. I'll see you at the next FlossTube. I'll try not to leave it for 6 or 7 weeks this time. I do say that every time. You know what happens. I've got lots going on, ski trips, all sorts of things, but I will try because this has just been mammoth. So I'll do my best not to. But if you would like to hear about life and my running and what happened, I will tell you about that now. Otherwise, see you later. See you in the next FlossTube. Okay, so I'm just going to actually pop over here because on my mantelpiece, sorry, I'm just going to disappear off the screen for about 2 seconds. I'm not going to stop it. I'm here. I am here. Let me take this, and this, and this. Okay, this is important. Sorry. All right, so the first race, which was the one I was telling you about, was my 100-miler up in the Flinders Ranges, which is about 5 hours north of here. So it's quite remote, beautiful area, beautiful. I might throw some pictures in at the end just so you can see the fun that me and my bestie had. Look, I say it was fun. It was fun. It was hard. We were very tired. It took us 38 hours. We got to the end. We came second, crossed the line together. We held hands and crossed the line together. I will not deny, after 38 hours, even me and my bestie got narky with one another. We were snapping at one another. There were quite a lot of things that went wrong. Look, every race you ever run, you learn. And I learn a lot of lessons out of this race, many of which I'm taking on board and will take into other races. I was crewed by my other bestie, Karen, and a beautiful man who has now become a fairly major part of my life. Just as a friend, of course, but he was phenomenal as a crew. He looked after me incredibly well, looked after my bestie as well. But he was very tired as well by the end. Everybody got snappy with one another. It's one of those things with ultra running, especially when you go, I mean, I went 40 if I count, because obviously I don't sleep too well with menopause anyway. I counted up, I went about 46 hours with 40 minutes sleep. So it's no wonder that we were all very tired. And I did just over 100 miles in that time. So, but here is this is the trophy, beautiful handmade by one of the local Aboriginal elders from the Flinders. Just as a reminder of the journey that we took through a very ancient, stunning area. So that was that. This is my little trophy to say I was a finisher. So this was our second place trophy. That was my little trophy to say I'm a finisher. And then it's interesting because Josie, my daughter, picked this up and she goes, "You've just got a piece of dirt." And it's like, no, this is a piece of country which has been gathered by one of the Aboriginal elders. So this actually has a very deep meaning, that they're gifting a piece of country to the runners who went through. So that is my small piece of country, which I earned from traversing through one of the most beautiful parts of South Australia for 38 hours on my feet with my bestie. So that was good. And then a week after that race, I then crewed the guy who was my crew for his race. He did not as well as he wanted, but incredibly well. And so I at least got to repay the compliment. I got to look after him for 50, it wasn't 50 hours. It would have been nice if he didn't do 50 hours. He did 25 hours. So that was quite an experience. And of course, you know, that was a week later and, you know, again, another night of no sleep. So, but you know, that was better. It was a different race, wasn't a point-to-point race. So he ended up running about the same distance, about 170 kilometers in that race. We ran, even though 100 miles is 160, we ended up running about 167 in total. So yes, so that was that race. And then 3 weeks after that, 3 weeks after that, I ran the Adelaide 24-hour. So the 24-hour is a race where you basically run around a loop. It's a 2.2 kilometer loop for 24 hours, non-stop. I mean, you can stop if you want. We didn't. To get as many kilometers as you can. Now, our goal, this is when I say our, this is me and my buddy. He and I had decided we were going to do a goal of 180 kilometers. He made 180. I didn't quite make 180. I made 173. But I was very pleased. I came second place female. There's my trophy. I went deep and hard. The only reason I managed to do it is because he and I buddied up about 12 hours in and we remained in step, side by side, without leaving one another for the next 12 hours. So we kept each other out there. We kept each other going. And, you know, both of us have said to one another, we would never have gone as far as we did if it hadn't have been for the other one there. So, again, lesson learned. A race like that, it really helps if you've got a buddy who you trust and you know is going to stick with you. It makes it a lot easier to get through the worst part of the night, which is sort of 4 to 5 a.m. when your body is screaming at you to stop and to sleep, and you can't see straight and your head is spinning and you're exhausted because it's set off at 10 o'clock in the morning, finished 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And it's just getting somebody to keep you going. And so I was very fortunate that I had my buddy. He kept me going. I kept him going. We whinged at each other a lot, but we kept going. And it was great. Like getting onto the podium again. I haven't been on the podium for a while, and 2 podiums in the space of 3 weeks was just, you know, it was amazing. However, what ended up happening after the 24-hour is I had quite a lot of pain in my legs, as you would. One of my ankles swelled up completely. So I was like, God, what the hell's going on? Went to my physio. He sort of flushed things out. That ankle went down, but I still had pain in my right leg. Now, at the beginning of the 24-hour, I had a lot of pain in my glute and hamstring, to the point that when I got to about 40 kilometers, I didn't think I'd be able to keep running. But I'm pretty pig-headed. I'm not one to pull out of a race. So with a change of shoes, a go with a massage gun and a bit of bloody-minded determination, I got out there and I kept going. And the pain in the hamstring and glute, it settled. It never went away, but it settled enough that I could, obviously keep running. But the upshot of what happened, according to my remedial masseur, is because I was in pain, I changed how I run very subtly, because I was obviously compensating for pain. And over the course of 173 kilometers on a hard surface, I basically snarled up all of the muscles in my lower right leg, like completely snarled up. And I remember when I went to see him, I was in pain. I was like, it feels like it's stuck. And he said, it's because it is stuck. Everything is stuck. So he said, you've made one hell of a mess of this leg. Anyway, he tried to work it out, and he did. He put me in excruciating amounts of pain. I have an incredibly high pain tolerance, let me tell you, like probably inhumanly high pain tolerance. And even this was pushing my pain tolerance to the level. So, and the next day I thought, oh, maybe it's better. Still not. Really single point pain, walking, running. And I'm thinking, what have I done? I've done some damage. So I saw my physio, and immediately he went, we need to go for an MRI because I need to rule out whether you've got a stress fracture. Now, that was possibly the worst 30 hours I've experienced for a long time, because once I really thought stress fracture, that means I'm out for 12 weeks, no weight bearing for at least 6 weeks. All the fitness I've built up till now goes, honestly, have to cancel the kids' ski trip, cancel all my next races, etc. So I was pretty low. Had the MRI the next morning. This is last Friday. And my wonderful physio called me as soon as he got the results, and he was like, Nancy, I've got good news. He said, there's no fractures, there's no tears, there's nothing. All it is a buildup of fluid in a particular area, which comes from the repetition on the hard surface. It is actually called tibial anterior friction syndrome. It's quite well known in ultra runners. And all I can do is just wait and work it out. So what I am doing now, I attempted a test run this morning, still not ready to run. It's still sore. So I haven't actually run for 2.5 weeks, or 2 weeks, which is a long time for me. But I'm icing it, I'm elevating it, I'm taking anti-inflammatories, I'm seeing the physio again tomorrow. He's going to start trying to work the fluid out, and eventually, hopefully, I should be able to run again. As soon as the pain stops, I can run again. So there's no damage, so it's good. Does mean the next race I was due to do in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to have to pull out. So I'm going to hopefully crew my buddy, because he's running it. So but it does mean that my race in September should still be okay. So that's been a roller coaster of a few weeks in many, many ways, but particularly with my running. So, and of course, we're now into winter. It's freezing cold. It's really hard to get up in the morning to run anyway. Not that I can run right now as it is. So it's been an interesting few weeks. Now you can see why I haven't had time to do a FlossTube. Because running has pretty much taken over my life since the beginning. Well, since the retreat at the beginning of May. Since I got back from that, everything has just been running. That's all, Work's going okay. It's still just work, life. It is what it is. The kids are looking forward to their holiday. They're looking forward to going skiing. Thank goodness I haven't got a stress fracture. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to ski with them. So we're going in a couple of weeks skiing. Other than that, I think that's about all I've got to tell you. Oh, there is one thing. Sorry, let's get back to cross stitch. So, and I'm sorry to leave this right to the very end, but I made 1,000 subscribers. Woohoo! And I have to thank everybody at Vic Stitches for that, because basically I can't remember. I think it was Michelle. It might have been Vicky. I can't remember. Somebody stood up and said, Nancy is at 980 subscribers. We need to get her to 1,000. And, you know, like half the people in that room were like, right, subscribe. And literally within 5 minutes, boom, I ticked over 1,000. I'm so excited. So next FlossTube, not this FlossTube because I've left it too late. Next FlossTube, I'm going to do a giveaway for my 1,000 subscribers. Must remember to do that. If I forget, please somebody remind me, because it's taken me a year to get there. I'm very excited to finally make the elusive 1,000 subscriber number. And you know what? I'm not going to keep them unless I keep posting FlossTubes. So I think that's all I've got to tell you about life. As I said, most of it has been running related. Otherwise, there's not really a lot to tell. So thank you for sticking with me. This has been a mammoth one. This has been long. I will try my best to make it a little bit shorter next time. I probably better go because my phone keeps telling me it's about to run out of battery and I don't really want to stop mid-sentence because it'll be like, and then I won't be able to video anymore. So I hope to see you all very soon. If you have commented and I haven't responded, I'm so sorry. I have just not been on FlossTube at all. I haven't been watching. I just haven't. I've really let it slip. But if any of you are interested, I'm doing my best with my Instagram account. You can find me on Instagram at Bohemian Stitchery. I've also started really trying to work on my TikTok. Also Bohemian Stitchery on TikTok. So if anybody wants to go over there and have a look at my cross stitch channel on TikTok, that would be great. I also have running channels if anybody is interested. If you would like to, I am Bohemian Runner on Instagram. So you can actually see some of my running stuff. I've reinstated that, and I'm Running Redhead on TikTok. So you can kind of follow my running journey there if you're interested. So otherwise, that's about all I have to say. I am now going to try and tidy up here, maybe sit down and get a few more stitches into Big Betty. And I will see you all next time. Okay, see you later. Happy stitching. Bye.